I decided to do a quick intro to the Gwynnie Bee from my car this time, just to get it done. And since I'm waiting for the car to warm up on my way back to work after a week-long vacation, it was glorious. Kind of getting mentally prepared to get back into it, yay. But anyway, so I ended up doing just a May rotation for Gwynnie Bee this time around, because I actually managed to rotate through quite a few outfits, and I figured by the time I added June onto it as well, it was just going to be too much. So you're about to see a whole lot of stuff, including this red dress, which came in right at the end of May. Finally wearing it to work because it's going to be a cool enough day to do that. But yeah, I had a lot of outfits in May, so I wanted to go ahead and get that rotation up. So June may be a little on the light side as a result of this, but I figured it would be better to do that than to give you like a 90-minute video, because that's just a little extreme. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoy watching the reviews of the outfits coming up. And if you've tried any of them successfully or unsuccessfully, let me know down below. I'm always curious to see how these things play out for other people. So let me know down below. I'm kind of wishing I was still on vacation. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
Ornate floral shirt dress by Loft in size 2022.
Okay, so this dress is a what was I thinking dress for sure. It looked really cute on screen, and it looked really cute when I pulled it out of the box, and then I wore it, and as I wore it I started to get really annoyed with it, and to the point where I hated it. And even now, just wearing it for the video, I'm just like, I want to get this off. The print is kind of pretty. It's a little bit old-fashioned, but there is definitely something now that once I wore it and started wearing it, that just is so grandmother's nightgown. The feel of it, the styling of it, it's just, I need to get this off. I did get compliments on it, so other people didn't see what I saw, but it's a very easy dress, just pulls right on over. It has an elastic cuff, but then it also has these bands here, higher up on the sleeve, which kind of give it that billowed sleeve romantic look to it. And then the tie around the neckline creates this collar and this keyhole. The keyhole's kind of neat, and I'm sure, you know, if you want to, you can untie this and maybe you won't be as annoyed as I was, but I left it like this, and maybe that was my mistake. But the collar is ruffled, and it's just, by the end of the day, I really felt like I was wearing an old-fashioned nightgown, and not a fancy one. So this was a no for me. I need to send it back.
Heart and Solar System dress by ModCloth in size 2X.
I went against my own instincts on this dress and did not size up, and I'm kicking myself. I really should have. I knew better, even though I've not had ModCloth through Gwynnie Bee before. I have bought from them directly, and so I should have known better that with this particular style of dress, when they have a specific waistline that is non-stretch, that my standard size isn't going to fit. Usually everything else fits except that waist, and that waist ends up just being too tight. So I should have sized up on this one, because I really, really love the dress itself. I'm not turning around to show you the back because it's not zipped up, so it is a zip back, just so that you know that. And of course, as you can see, there are pockets. There are some complaints online that the print isn't as vibrant in person as it is online. Some people were saying that they thought there was a lot more purple in there, and it ends up there's a lot of brown. There is a lot of brown on here. I'm not going to dispute that, but I feel like the colors are still very poppin'. And I really, really love this dress, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't try sizing up from the get-go. I have sized up now, and hopefully I will get this dress back so I can try it to its full effect. But I'm not entirely hopeful that I'm going to end up getting it. I'll keep my fingers crossed, but I'm guessing I probably am not necessarily going to get this one back. So, which is a bummer because I would have really loved it otherwise. I like the neckline. I do like the way that the armholes are cut. I do like kind of the wide strap, but it's still kind of a slim summer dress kind of feel. It's a cotton dress, so it's very lightweight. I love the pockets, of course, and with me being a space nerd, I just really, really love the fabric. So I'm bummed, but optimistic that I will get this one back and I can try it again. I'm a little bit worried because, as you guys know, if you've watched some of my other reviews with the way dresses traditionally fit me, I usually get a 2X because of my lower portion being larger than my upper portion, which means that the upper body is usually a little too big anyway. So I'm a little concerned about sizing up so that if it accommodates my waistline and being able to zip it, that this part is just going to end up being way too loose. Yes, I know that if I totally love it, I could probably have it altered, but I always have to ask myself whether or not I'm really going to get that done. So I'm not going to worry about crossing that bridge until and if I get this dress back. But anyway, so just know if you are planning on ordering this one, definitely pay attention to measurements with ModCloth specifically, because theirs do run a little bit different than traditional sizing for me, at least in terms of the waistline. Traditional 2X's do not fit me with ModCloth usually, so be warned.
3/4 sleeve V-neck dress in black print by Geely in size 3X.
So this is a very traditional wrap style dress. It is a full wrap dress, so it does require some skill, a little bit, at manipulation of the tying and wrapping of it. It's not a hard thing to do, but I do recommend that you practice if you're not familiar with them and get that down before you just throw it on and wear this out, because there is no privacy panel on this dress. It does open up, quite easily to everything opening up, so you want to make sure that you have things tied securely and wrapped securely so that you don't inadvertently show off more than you had intended to. I did wear this on a windy day, so I had an extra little battle that I had to deal with, but thankfully having it tied and secured wasn't too much of a problem. The other minor problem with this particular tie is that if you don't have it configured right by using the little side loops that are provided for that effort, you do have the potential of having this tied a little too low and then gapping open and exposing a little bit more than you probably really wanted to. So wearing something underneath might be a good idea. I did wear this with a camisole, and thankfully I didn't end up needing it, but it was nice knowing that I had that there as security if I did need it. So just practice with it. Make sure you have it right before you wear this out in public. But otherwise, I actually found this to be a really comfortable dress. Very easy to wear, and a pretty nice weight and length for my office environment, which is what I typically use Gwynnie Bee for. The one issue that I did have with this dress as far as comfort is concerned is that the effort of pulling this side over to wrap over, for some reason, at least for me, tugs the shoulder a little bit too much and ends up making this arm a little bit tight. It's not obstructive in any way. Like, I can move, as you can see. I'm moving my arms around and everything's fine, but I can kind of feel it. So as I'm moving, I can kind of feel this shoulder tugging a little bit more than this shoulder does. So that's a little bit off-putting for me, because during the day as I'm moving around and I'm working on it, I'm tugging on this and then checking this to make sure I haven't changed anything with how the tie is holding. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes wrap dresses I find are really, really easy to work with, and sometimes there's additional fuss that's needed once it's on that makes it less attractive, and that was the case for me on this dress. I liked it, but it was a little bit too post on the body fussy for me to want to consider, wearing this more than once. So obviously there's no zip because it is a wrap tie, and there is a panel in the back, but it just goes from neck to waistline, and just kind of adds a little bit of a little layer in the back there to help cover bra areas. So if you do decide to wear something under this, you're not going to be competing with other linings, but just know that the fabric material itself is pretty thin. So whatever you put under that, you'll want to be also thin, or at least as seamless as possible, because otherwise, based on how you tie it and how tightly you tie it, some of that may end up, showing up through the dress. So just be aware of that.
Navy bell sleeve blouse by Soprano in size 2X.
This one is a very big no thank you. I'm sending this back. This is not even going to get one wearing to the office. It is very tight in the shoulders here, so my range of movement is very, very limited, but it fits weirdly elsewhere. So obviously the sleeves are a bell sleeve, so they're very drapey and flowy, but there is a hem, I guess, or a seam on the inside. It's not an elastic cuff, it's just a seam for where the sleeves flow out, so that's hitting me in a weird spot as I'm moving around. And like I said, there's no stretch at all with this, so even though it looks like it's very flowy, there is a lining underneath this which is very, very tight. The other thing that makes this weird is that the lining only goes to the seam, the peplum seam. So the lining is like a crop lining. So it's hitting me here. It's really, really tight. Here, I'm just gonna show you. Here's my belly. Sorry if you're offended by my belly. But yeah, so here's the lining right here, and it just goes to my waistband, basically. And it's very tight. So my boobs feel smushed down. I feel like I can't move. There is a keyhole button back, and the keyhole dips down very low, which I also don't like, because I don't really like having my bra exposed if I can avoid it. And yeah, this is just a big miss for me. So most outfits, even if they're a little bit on the snug side, I will try and give them a go during the work day, but this is just not, nope.
Diagonal stud top by Style & Company in size 2X.
Okay, so I'm trying a little something different with the lighting, and hopefully this will help. I've added a light back there, and I've turned off the light behind me, so hopefully this will help with being able to see the items, especially the darker ones, but we'll play with it and see. Let me know what you think. This is a pretty basic sweater. Nothing too extraordinary about it to write home about. It's not super thick, which is nice. So for me, it's a good seasonal transitional piece for sure. Easily could be something that I could even wear during the winter time during the milder days. This is warm but not heavy, so that's kind of nice. And I do like the silver stud details and kind of the crisscrossing of the pattern, which is subtle, but it adds a little, a little extra something. The knit isn't itchy, which is definitely nice, especially if you are in an environment like I am where the air temperature changes a lot. I work in a really big corporate building, but it's very industrial, so it's got like the open ceilings and everything like that, and definitely the temperature changes a lot, so having a piece that's going to keep me comfortable either way is nice. So what I'm building up to say at this point is I actually did buy this one. The price was right for it, and I was able to use some of my rewards points to drop it down to about $6. So it was definitely worth it for a $6 price tag to add this one into my collection. Probably won't be able to really wear this one again until maybe late fall, because we're definitely getting into warmer season where something like this is a little bit too warm, but it'll be nice to have a reliable cooler weather piece already available when that time comes around. So I'm looking forward to wearing this a lot during the fall. So if you're looking for a piece that's like that, definitely give this one a shot. It's relatively inexpensive if you're looking to add something to your wardrobe permanently, and it's a pretty basic piece, so I think you'll get a lot of mileage out of it, as I am certainly hoping to do. So a little close up so you can see kind of the zigzag pattern and the stud detailing a little bit more. So yeah, I like it.
Elbow length sleeve abstract print dress in plum by Ellen Tracy in size 20W.
This one kind of looks and feels like it's been in the Gwynnie Bee rotation for a little while at this point. The hem is starting to fall out at the bottom. It's kind of only tacked up halfway. The colors are fading a little bit, and you can't really see it on the fabric, but you can kind of feel that it's pilling a little bit. But that having been said, I actually like the feel of this dress quite a bit. It is a sturdier knit, so the center portion where it's got the crisscross panels and kind of creates a little bit of textural and visual interest on this also serve almost like a, for lack of a better word, like a girdle. It feels like there's a lot of extra support here in the abdomen area because of the way that the dress is built. And I find that to be really comfortable, especially with a lot of the kind of looser styles that are out there currently. So I kind of liked that, and I do like the way that this dress fits me in general. It is, as you can tell, the sleeves are elbow length, a little bit shorter than elbow length, but more or less. There is a back zip, which I didn't need for this particular dress. I was able to pull it straight on over. And the colors on this are kind of a nice nod to springtime coming. I mean, with the bright blue, and there's a little touch of pink in here, but there's also the dark purple, which on camera kind of reads as black. There is some black in here as well, but the dark purple really kind of helps everything pop out a little bit more, and I kind of enjoyed that. It is a little bit of a thicker knit, so like right now as I'm filming this, it's about 80 degrees and I'm kind of feeling a little warm indoors with wearing this, so it's probably not something that I would want to wear outdoors to an event in the sunshine. I think I would end up getting kind of warm, but for an office environment it was just fine. And it is lined, which I also appreciate, so anything that kind of gives a little bit more coverage and kind of smooths things out a little bit, I definitely appreciate. So I think my drawbacks on this one again are that I feel like this particular dress is getting a little old. It's been probably in rotation for a little while at this point, and Gwynnie Bee may want to look into possibly retiring this one, or at least getting the hem fixed. So I'll need to make sure to let them know to keep an eye out for it when I send this one back. So it's a little bit too bold of a pattern for me to want to keep, because you know how I do, but it was all right.
Asymmetrical color block dress by Ellen Tracy in size 20W.
This ended up being a really nice piece for work wearing in a conservative environment. And it's weird that I say that, and I sometimes need to kind of explain it to a lot of people, because I work in a conservative environment that's not really all that conservative. It's kind of like they pretend to be a little bit more casual and they put off that persona, but if you kind of go too far outside that realm, they give you a funny look. So they're conservative, not conservative. I don't know. But anyway, this one was a pretty safe bet to go with. And what I liked about it is that it's definitely a nod to a conservative work environment without it being stuffy. I liked the color pop here with the diagonal line and the interest that gives it, as well as, it keeping kind of the shape a little bit more flattering. It is form-fitting, so, shapewear was helpful. But it's not so obstructive and not so in your face that I felt uncomfortable with it. I mean, it does kind of define things a little bit more than I would like it to, but I wasn't really all that uncomfortable with it. And I really like the fact that it's a neckline and a no sleeve dress. Has, in that work environment where the office is kind of running hot and cold with the air and you're in between seasons, it's just kind of nice having a piece like this that you can kind of move through that with. The one thing that I didn't like about this dress, and the reason why I ended up kind of only wearing it once and then deciding not to fuss with it again, is the armholes for me are way too big, and that kind of ended up eliminating my ability to wear this without a jacket or a cardigan on it, over it. So I'm sure in the long run it wouldn't have been a huge deal for me to have a little bit of my bra showing, but that would have made me uncomfortable. So then I would have been self-conscious and constantly tugging at my dress. So it just made more sense to wear it with a cardigan, and that kind of cancels out the part of the usefulness of this dress for me. Obviously your mileage may vary depending on how your body is shaped, but there is a back zip. I didn't need it. This fabric is pretty stretchy. It has a lot of give. Even though it is form-fitting, it is very movable. I didn't find it tight. I just found it very secure, if you know what I mean. So I actually really liked this dress. I really liked the fit of this dress and the feel of it. Parts of it just didn't quite work out for me, so it's kind of a one and done for me, but I still really liked it. So apparently this dress confuses me. I don't know.
Winnie dress in cactus print by Rachel Antonoff in size 20W.
This one ended up being a weird one for me. The sizing on it's odd, and there are a couple other things that I didn't really like about it. First off, the upper portion of it is large for me, which in and of itself isn't unusual for me. If you've seen my other reviews, you know that I tend to be larger on the bottom than I am on the top, so usually with dresses I'm used to a little extra room at the top, but this is excessive. It actually kind of gapes. It's a really, really large arm opening here, and because of the extra room, the fabric just kind of sits weirdly here. It kind of poofs out, which meant that in order to actually wear this, I had to wear a sweater over it in the office. And sizing down wouldn't be an option for me because it's snug here in the mid-range. So not snug enough that it's uncomfortable. I mean, I was definitely able to wear the dress, but sizing down would not be an option. This would not fit me if I sized down. I do like the fact that it has the pockets, so that's nice. There is a back zip, which I did not need, but just know that it's there if you do need it. The other thing that I didn't like about this dress, it is lined, which is a good thing. The lining has no stretch in it whatsoever, which is part of the reason why this area here is so snug. But the other thing that I didn't like about this dress is it's got kind of that little girl polyester party dress kind of rustle, if you know what I mean. Which in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing if maybe you're getting this for a party. It's kind of that, I don't know, kind of goes with that. Wearing this in the office was a little bit distracting. I kind of did feel like I was playing with an oversized little girl's dress, which is a bummer because, number one, pockets, love that, but I really love this print. This print is really colorful and fun. It's kind of it's a desert print with the kind of abstract cactuses, and if you look closely at some of the images, you can see little scorpions and snakes incorporated in here. But it's not in your face Southwest desert print. It's something that you really kind of have to look at to notice. And the colors, even though when you look at it and you look at the print, you're like, yeah, that's definitely Southwest. It's very non-traditional. It's not the sands and the browns and the reds. So you have the bright green and the yellow and the orange, and some of the scorpions are kind of a pinky purple color, and it's a really different take on what is very obviously a Southwest print when you look at it. So I love that. And yeah, I'm just kind of sad that the rest of the dress was a no for me because I love the fabric so much. Oh well, sending this one back.
Charcoal cardigan with trim detail by Flying Tomato in size 2X. And crew neck top with lace bottom trim in black by Carmen Mark Volvo in size 2X.
So these look a little strange with the jeans. I actually wore these together with some slacks to work, and it was okay. It looks a little strange with the jeans, I know, but this is just kind of for the filming on this. So I figured I would just go ahead and talk about them together since I wore them together. The sweater is okay. I have to say I'm not too keen on the kind of cocoon styling of this cardigan. I found it to be a little odd with how it fits me, and that caused me to really kind of fuss with it during the work day. So I have to say I'm not a fan of this style of sweater. I prefer something that's going to be a little bit more open and not quite so, I don't know, cocoony, I guess is the way to describe it. But I mean, it's pretty lightweight, it's pretty comfortable as far as that's concerned. And I thought the two pieces worked pretty well together, especially in an office environment where the air can be unpredictable. The sweater itself has a little bit of a knit pattern to it. I don't know how well that's going to translate across in the video, but there is a little bit of kind of a floral pattern to it in the weave. And of course the designing along the edge of it is kind of almost like a southwestern inspired design, but the colors are a little bit not quite southwesterny. We have some royal blue and some red in here that I wouldn't necessarily automatically associate with a southwestern vibe, but yeah, I mean, it was all right. Now, in terms of the shirt itself, the shirt was actually pretty comfortable. Go ahead and take this off. The shirt was actually pretty comfortable. I like the length of it. I like the stretchiness of the knit. I probably would have preferred not having a lace bottom. I think I would have liked to just have, a black top, but I mean, it adds some visual interest to it, and it's kind of a nice little fashion thing. There is a tag on the back of the shirt here, which is like a silver toned bar. It feels like it's plastic. It doesn't feel like it's metal, so it doesn't really have any weight to it, but it's definitely, shiny and kind of noticeable if that part of the shirt is exposed for you. I actually almost ended up keeping the shirt. The price was decent on it, and again, I do like the stretchiness of it and the fact that it's kind of just a basic shirt. The one drawback to it for me was that it is dry clean only, so that's not really something that really fits into my lifestyle and isn't something I'm interested in keeping long term, so I'll be sending this one back. But all in all, I mean, it was okay. Definitely, a mild thumbs up for the shirt. Not so much for the sweater, it just wasn't for me.
Sophilla top by Juna Rose in size 20.
So I like the color of this one a lot. It's a very bright cobalt blue, so that's definitely a win in my book, especially because in a lot of cases the bright blue stuff that shows up online, when I get it, ends up being a lot more muted than I was hoping for. So I really like that this is a very true bright cobalt blue. The fabric is pretty thin and there's no stretch to it at all, so I'm definitely feeling a little bit of tightness across the waist. I would not likely wear this with jeans. This will probably be something that I'll wear to work with some slacks or a skirt, and that'll help minimize some of the kind of snugness that I'm feeling around the belly. It's not too bad, but it's definitely there. I'm not feeling tight across the shoulders, but I do feel that there is a tendency for those who might carry their weight up here to feel that tightness, because again, there is no stretch with this particular piece. So just be aware that if you carry your weight in your shoulders or in your upper arms, that this might be an uncomfortable fit for you. Definitely check measurements on this. I'm a little undecided on how I feel about the length in the back being different than the length in the front. It's very pronounced, and because of the rounded hem in the front and the more squared off hem in the back, it's a little odd to me. I do like the fact that it does provide the extra butt coverage, so that's nice. But I'm not really sure how I feel about that transition. I'm going to have to kind of wear it through the day and see how I feel about that. So I'm a little on the fence about it. So obviously I haven't given this a full day's wear test yet. At least it passes enough for me to want to wear it to work once, but we'll have to kind of see how it wears during the day. So this might end up being a one and done, but I do really, really like the color.
Textured bell sleeve shift dress in deep cherry by Hutch in 2X.
Well, this one is a bright red dress, and because it is such a bright color, I'm really glad that it's a really simple dress too, because I think the color just is what needs to speak in this one. There is kind of the bell sleeve thing going on, but other than that, it's a straightforward dress. There's no other bells or whistles to it. There's nothing fancy with it. There is a back zip, but it's a small zipper, and the looseness of the fabric for me allowed me to just go ahead and pull it on over. I didn't need the zip, but there is a zipper there if you need it. And The lining of this dress is super buttery soft. It is so comfortable. I don't even know how to really explain it fully. But this dress just, it feels really good on the skin. So I'm excited about wearing this one. It's a little bit too bright for me in terms of the orangeness of this red, if that makes sense. It's definitely a warmer red color than what I would typically gravitate to. I tend to gravitate more towards the blue undertone as opposed to like the yellow orange undertones of reds. And this one is definitely a very bright red, but I'm looking forward to wearing this and rocking it in the office. The print on it, or the fabric on it, I shouldn't say print, but the fabric on it is kind of a waffle weave, but it's very thin and very lightweight. And again, it's just super, super comfortable. So I'm looking forward to wearing this one next week and just owning my redness.
Side ruched dress with leaf print by Jessica Howard in 20W.
So this one is definitely form-fitting, so I will want to wear shapewear with this because it's a little bit clingy to rolls that I'd rather not display quite that prominently, so to speak. But in general, this is a really comfortable dress. Excuse the little hangers that are hanging out here. The armholes are a little bit deep, not too bad, but they are showing a little bit of my bra. So I would probably wear this with a cardigan or a sweater or something over it just to kind of cover that piece up. But I feel like this could be a really good transitional piece for, you know, office environments, but also could be a really good piece for things like a summer wedding if you're going to that, or like a graduation, or even like church, like a church outing, if you had an event scheduled for that. So it's pretty lightweight, but it feels like it's covering everything that it needs to cover. It feels like it's a respectable length, but it's easy to move in. I feel some stretch with it. It's pretty, but it's not in your face colorful. So I think that it's kind of that nice in-between piece. It's conservative without being bland, and it's lightweight without being flimsy, if that makes sense. So if you're looking for a piece that maybe, you know, maybe you've got an event coming up where maybe you don't have a lot of time in between things to worry about changing. Maybe you've got a graduation or a wedding coming up that's after work, and so you don't necessarily have a lot of time to fuss in between. This might be a good piece for that, because you could easily, you know, dress it for work with a blazer or something, and then change your shoes and maybe your jewelry for the event, and you'd be fine. So there is a back zip to it, and as you can tell, it is a kind of a clingier dress. So if you're like me and you carry weight in this area, you might want to think about shapewear, just so that it doesn't fully define parts of you that you don't want defined. But you know, think about this because it's actually pretty comfortable. I kind of like it.
Felicity Sleeveless Perfect Wrap Mini in Desert Petal by Leota in size 2L.
I don't have the tie on this set quite right. There's some loops here along the waistline that this should be threading through, but I was lazy and I just decided to throw it on for the try on. So what I really like about this dress is kind of the vibrancy of it. The reds and the oranges and burgundies in here just really kind of sizzle. It kind of almost seems like it's a dress that's made for salsa dancing, which I don't know how to do, but it seems like it's that kind of dress. Pretty easy pullover style. Again, it does have the tie belt to it, kind of a faux wrap version of the neckline with the tie on it, but pretty simple to pull on and wear. It is a little bit clingy, so I will probably want to wear this with shapewear just to kind of smooth out some of my bumps. But other than that, I really like this dress. I feel like it's a good, fun print, comfortable, pretty vibrant, and I'm looking forward to wearing this in the next couple of weeks to work because I think this one's going to get a lot of really positive attention. So I like this one.
Chevron print fit and flare dress by Jessica Howard in 20W.
Jessica Howard is one of my go-to brands for Gwynnie Bee, so it's not really a surprise that I like this dress. It is a little bit loose up top, so when I wear this to work, I will probably want to wear a tank top or a camisole underneath it just so that it doesn't gape open at a wrong moment. But I like the drape, I like the wide waistband, and hello, pockets. Pockets are always fun. There is a underarm zip if you need a little bit of help getting into it. I didn't. I was able to go ahead and pull it over my head. But if you did need a little bit extra help with that, just know that the zip is there. The fabric is pretty stretchy, even though the waistband is definitely, I don't want to necessarily say form-fitted, but it's definitely very solid. It's very thick, so you feel like you're supported here, so there's not a whole lot of give, but the fabric in and of itself is pretty stretchy, so it feels pretty flowy and like I can easily move and bend and work in this. The armholes are a little bit deep for me. I think it's just the way that the sleeve is designed and how it comes over the shoulders on me. So I'm feeling a little bit of snugness, but it's nothing unbearable. It's definitely something that I can, work with. And I really love the colors. I feel like this is a very good, bright summertime dress, but still very easy to work with in the office. So I like this one quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to wearing it next week because we're supposed to have upper 80-degree weather, so I think this will be perfect for that.